Hi, welcome back to CSS Tips and Tricks. I'm Steven Krecky, and today I'm going to show you how to style a form and some of the elements inside it. So as you can see, I have a form. Inside there I have a field set, and then I have my legend, and then I have a label and input for my name and email, and then I have a label and a text area for my comment, and then an input for my submit button. So when we preview this, as you can see, it's nothing too special, and there's a lot we can do to clean this up. The first step we're going to take in cleaning this up is actually changing the markup. Now, you don't want to use tables anymore. It's acceptable to use tables for more complex forms, but for this, all we need is unordered list. So we'll make this an unordered list and give each element its own list item. And we'll use some TextMate magic to wrap all that in list items. And then we'll align everything back up. So there you go. We have an unordered list and everything is now in a list item. So now when we look at this in a browser, it's already starting to come together. We can still do a few cosmetic changes, line everything up a little better, and get rid of these bullets. So now we're going to switch over to the CSS side, and I've already written a little bit of CSS just to get things started here. We have our field set, which I give a margin of 2 EMs from the top and bottom, and an auto for left and right, and a width of 500 pixels, which will center this. I've also told it border none because by default field set has a border, and I wanted to get rid of that. And then I also changed the field set legend to be 2 EMs, so then that way the text will be a little bit bigger. So now we're going to style our unordered list. We're going to say margin 0. We're going to say padding 0. And then we're going to say list style none. Now we're also going to style the list items while we're here. And we're just going to say float left. And then we're going to also style our labels. So we're going to say margin and 0 and then 0.5 EM from left and right. We're going to give it a line height. This will center our text so they line up in the center of our form or our input fields. And so we're just going to say 2.5. And now we're going to say float left as well. Give it a width of 80 pixels. This way all the text will line, or all the labels will line up correctly. And then we're going to say text align right. And just a little cosmetic change, we're going to say text transform and then uppercase. There we go. Now we're also going to style the inputs a little bit. We're just going to give them a little bit of padding. And we're going to give them a width of 250 pixels. And I also added an ID earlier to our submit button, so I could call it like an ID and just say margin 0 from the top, 0 from the right, 0 from the bottom, and then 95 pixels from the left. That's just to get it lined up again. And then we're going to give it a width of 100 pixels. Now, since I changed the width on here because when you call an input, it's going to style your submit button too, since it's technically an input. So I just gave it a special ID that I could give it its own class of a width and its own margin. So now when we preview that in a browser, it looks a lot better. We made all the labels uppercase, and so we can just fill this out real quick just as a demonstration. It's not going to do anything. There we go. So as you can see, nothing too special, but it looks a lot nicer than it did before. So I hope you found this a little bit helpful, and I will have a new podcast out next week. Sorry I'm a little under the weather this week. Next week will be a lot better. Thank you.